Hey everybody, Mega Ruler 31 back here for FSI DFS. We are going to be covering the Xfinity Series race at Daytona again. Just like the truck one, I'm so sorry that the sheet didn't show for the truck video, but you guys asked a lot of great questions. Had some new people drop into our Discord using the free sign up, which the information is on the right hand side of the sheet there. If you go to fsidfs.com, you can sign up for a Discord. You can get the updated sheet when it's ready to go. Don't have a ton going on with this sheet just because we haven't had qualifying yet, but same thing as the truck show. I'm going to just kind of go over the different drivers and stuff that I think, can do really well in this race. And of course, it's all going to be based on qualifying. Like yesterday, you had some really decent trucks qualify towards the back, and they were really good plays. I think everybody played Johnny Sauter. He just had to, starting 40th with his pedigree on the new truck, but the new team, it just was too slow, couldn't keep up. So they got some work to do there, obviously, and it kind of hurt a lot of people. And think the wreck at the end didn't help some, hurt some, but that's Daytona, and that's why we don't go all our bankroll in here, and that's why we don't go too invested in what we do. It's a chance to dip our feet back into the water for the season, and then next week as they go back to California, we'll look at things a little bit more in depth and start to talk about the teams and do some more breakdowns of that. And TK got called into work, so he does still exist. He is still with FSI. He's still my partner in crime here, and hopefully we'll hook up for the Daytona race. So anyways, let's jump right into this. We're going to go team by team here. First team is Alpha Prime Racing. This was the Martin team. It was Tommy Joe is like he's not the CEO, but he's pretty high up in the organization, but I think it was owned by some relative of him, might be his father. I'm not positive, but anyways, it became Alpha Prime Racing. It's named after Cesar Beccarelli's fitness brand, which I think, ironically, I think he took some of the supplements from that fitness brand, and he came up banned on the NASCAR banned substances because he didn't realize what was in them or something, but he should be reinstated for this race. Team's going to have two cars, and if you're looking at my coloring here, here's what the key is. The number of the car, if the car is in red, it means that they do not have enough owners points if they don't qualify in speed, so they're in danger of not qualifying for the 500. It looks like they're probably going to take 36 cars, and there's 46 or 47 people trying to get in. So at least 10 or 11 of these guys might not make the race. So we're going to try to figure that out here just for fun. Yellow means that they're kind of on the border for speed wise for like owners points, and the blue ones are ones that should be locked in. They were the top four last year. The 22 was number one overall, but not racing this year. Penske's not feeling a car. So then it goes to the fifth place car. There's also a provision for a former champion. That gets too complicated to figure out, and that's how Sauter got in yesterday on the former champions provisional, and that person usually would start like dead last based on that. So there's a lot of former champions of this field, but just to go through the whole breakdown of it just would be too time consuming. It's not something you really need to watch in this video. So Alpha Prime Racing, Tommy Joe Martins, he's a guy that if he starts in the 20s, usually finishes in the 20s. Average track finish here is 18th in 3 races. He's finished 2 out of 3 races. So I think he's a solid play if you're looking for that. Cesar Beccarelli, not a great Daytona driver. He has had 8 races here and has a 62% DNF rate. So if he makes it, I think he's got a good chance with his speed. He's 27th in practice, but not somebody I might be looking to play. The BJ McLeod cars, they stay towards the back, and kind of like the Rick Ware cars do in Daytona, but last year they didn't work out because all of them tried to pit and like ran into each other, and sometimes that strategy doesn't work, but sometimes it does help out. If you do look at this, and a lot of them, it's going to take some good driving and good speed to get in here. They're right on the bubble, like this whole team. So you might not see any BJ McLeod cars in here, but they are cheap. And if they start in the back of the field, this is not a start park thing. Some things with like trucks and Xfinity, some teams, especially this year now that they're having qualifying practice again, not just rolling out and starting, it's going to be more expensive for some of the smaller teams. So some might just go run a few laps, park the car, take the paycheck, and go on for the next race, especially if they don't have a sponsor. But these BJ McLeod cars usually they can get up to the 20s. So I think they are kind of valuable. I think, Stefan Parsons seems to be the best driver here. Josh Williams was in DGM last year, and TJ and I started singing his praise of how well he was doing. And then he just had a really, really bad spell. But towards the end of the year, he started turning around again, lost his right or left. I don't know what the situation was. Didn't read too much into it. We'll have that for when we do the full Xfinity breakdown. But now he's here with BJ McLeod. So he's one that I actually would probably like the best out of this group. Ronnie Bassett comes out for Daytona here. I don't know if he's going to make the field. The speed was decent, so he probably can. But I think he's definitely on the bubble. Big Machine Racing, Jay Buford, a decent car here. He's only had one start, but Daytona, he finished in the top 10. So I think, he's someone maybe cheap to look at if I'm starting in the back. Brandon Built, if you hear the chant, let's go Brandon. That's all because of him when I believe he won Talladega last year. So that was a plate race. I think, he's definitely a good option here. Hopefully he starts back in the field 18th. I mean, I'd take him there. Like I said, sometimes with these plate races, the strategy is to stack in the back, and sometimes it works, sometimes it didn't. Some of the guys, if you got the correct guys, moved up well yesterday, but there have been races where the back has just all taken each other out and not really made a difference. But Brandon Brown's definitely somebody that we'll probably be talking about all year long that we really like. Joey Clements, this is a decent other family-owned team, just like Brown. I think these two teams are very similar. He's had 23 races at Daytona, couple of top 10s, average finishes 22. It all depends on where he starts here, but I think he's pretty solid. Out of 23 races, a 20% DNF rate is excellent. That means he finishes the race 80% of the time. He stays out of trouble. Definitely somebody that I would be looking at. The GGM cars here, little reshuffling with drivers and stuff. Weatherman and Bilicki should be safe making it no matter what. LeBay changes teams and takes over 90. His speed was not there. So he's definitely one that concerned might not make this race. Mason Massey potentially could, but I think he's kind of on the bubble also. Nothing really pops out here. Bilicki, I believe, has run some cup and been pretty clean up there. So, and Weatherman seems to be able to keep things clean also. I think I'd like him better on the road races here. So these DGM cars are okay, but if you're looking for value, I'd rather have Brown or Clement, who's a little bit more expensive. The other thing here too is we've been saying it all week long at Daytona is you do not have to spend all your salary. So salary doesn't really matter. But if there's a case where there's a bunch of 10K guys that all do really bad at qualifying, and that could potentially happen because I don't think there's a chance to, if you trim out your car and have it really, really fast for qualifying, you might not have the long run speed in it to be able to do well in the race early on. Now you can make adjustments as you go through, change tires, get different tire pressure, wedge, different adjustments here and there. But the overall setup for the car, so if you're going to go for speed to try to get into the race, you might not be as fast to start out the race. So I think some of them, and it seemed like Gibbs did this in qualifying, that they were more concerned about racing setup than setting up for a qualify, where Hendricks seemed to go all for the speed in qualifying. So TGM, who knows what they're going to go for there. Next, we have the Emmerich Gase Motorsports. Patrick Emmerich combined teams with Joey Gase, who Emmerich was at Our Motorsports and Gase was at Means, and they actually received the owner points from the 23. They bought them. So that means that Shane Lee who is in the Toyota here, should have a good chance of making it in based on owner points, no matter what their speed was, because that's a good thing, because it was like 45. It was pretty slow practice, but then again, that was just practice. Maybe they're not showing the full hand. Joey Gase, he's had a lot of experience at Daytona. Finished about a third of them, so he's somebody that could be a little bit more dependable if he gets into the show than some of these GGM cars. JD Motorsports, I don't know, they've got an uphill battle here. Right on the bubble, Vargas was a little bit better. Curly, they're veterans, but they really haven't raced a ton at Daytona. I don't know. I don't know if I really want to. They do have Clement engines, which is their tech should be good and they should be solid, and they shouldn't like just break down after a couple laps like some of these lower budget teams might, like the BJ McLeod cars. So there's someone, I think they're playable. Let's say that. Jesse Inua, he's jumping back in. He's his own team owner, and he's backed by Emmett Smith. So it's kind of cool seeing a huge diversity initiative in NASCAR, and a lot of people coming in like Pitbull and Floyd Mayweather and different celebrities and athletes and stuff, like trying to back, like Michael Jordan, of course, with the Bubba Wallace and the 23 team in Cup, like backing some of these cars and these drivers. And Jesse's a decent driver. I just think he just didn't have the funding. Should be right on the bubble there, but I think, that he'll push hard enough to get into this race. And I think he's one to maybe watch if he starts in the back. I think the tech and stuff should be good on this car, with the backing that they have for like Smith's Money and some of the other investors in it. So I think they could do quite well here. Now we move to one of the big teams, the Gibbs team. You have Ty Gibbs coming in. Last year he came out, ran a bunch of races as not even a rookie. This is his official rookie year where he's running the full time, but like he actually kind of dominated Xfinity just running part-time. It was a really cool story last year. Kind of maybe see a sophomore slump here. And again, you just have to, it all depends on where he qualifies. If he qualifies bad, then I think he's a lock-in. If he's up towards the top, I don't know. I think he's one that's like really still finding himself, and he's been overly aggressive, and that kind of caused his demise. So in a track like this, where if you try to be too aggressive and aren't patient, which I don't think he is, being as young as he is, I think he could be a possible liability. Brandon Jones, he's been decent at Daytona. I think that this is the type of track. There's weeks that you play him, there's weeks that you don't. I think this is one that you do. Drew Dollar ran some races last year in truck. He's also a rookie. Again, a kind of he should definitely be in based on like owner points from last year, but it's kind of iffy on that. Matt Snyder moves from, I think he was on JR Motorsports last year. Now he's moving to Jordan Anderson Racing. Jordan Anderson builds good cars. They're pretty fast and things. Snyder's only not finished one of his 4 races, 2 top 10. So I think he's definitely someone, especially if this, speed was 17th in qualifying. So he should qualify quite well. But if he does end up in like the 20s or so, he's somebody that you can look for probably in the GPP that might be sneaky, might keep it clean and get up in a top 10 there. JR Motorsports, very, very strong at plate tracks, owned by Dale Earnhardt Jr., very good racer there. Noah Grayson's probably going to be one of the top racers in sports now that all the other guys moved up. He's had beef with several guys, but I think most of them have left, and he's the only one left here. So I think he's the next one to move up to Cup next year. He's actually racing in the 500. Just made it in there. Different car, different setup, and with those new next gen cars there, so you really can't compare. But this is a standard track. It's not like it's a road course or something where getting extra laps out there is actually going to help, and it might even hurt him a little bit. But he should be top of this series. No issues here. Hopefully, you probably want to play one guy in the top 10, and I think he could be one of the options here. Most of the other cars you want to play further on back. Again, it all depends on qualifying. Allgaier, same thing, really good. Josh Berry, also like Gibbs, ran part-time up here, had some really, really good races. He finished 9th in Daytona last year. Seems to be a really good young driver. So really actually finished 27th. He started 9th, probably got into a wreck or something. And then Sam Mayer, I think out of the 4 motorsports ones, he would be my least favorite. But then again, it all depends on where they qualify. It's gonna be a decent car, decent equipment. He's probably gonna hook up with the rest of these ones. The Gibbs car is probably gonna hook up, and then you have the other dominant team, the Cully team. Hemrick, last year's winner, finally got his win. Monkeys off his back. I could see him going back to back here and being able to pull off a win. So yeah, really like Hemrick, and I think, maybe curious of momentum. I could see him definitely winning this one. AJ Allmendinger also, I think he's only focusing part-time with Cups. I think he has limited unfinished business down here. I think he really wants to take the title from this series. It's really close last year, had a phenomenal season. And I wouldn't be surprised if one of these Cully cars, or if they finish like 1, 2, 3, if they can keep it clean up there and don't try to wreck each other at the end. Landon Castle, he actually gets a huge promotion. He's a decent driver who was driving a crap car last year. He was in the number 4 for JD Motorsports, and now he gets a huge upgrade with this equipment, and he's been around for a little bit of time. 9 Daytona races, 22% DNF rate. That is outstanding. Top 5, a top 10 in that equipment. That is phenomenal. So he's a dark horse here also. JJ Yaley and MBM Racing, I kept the 66. They fielded some scrubs last year, like David Scar and Matt Jaskell, who's actually moved over to the truck. So it was like young guys, and it's not a really great team. Tech concerns here, but Yaley is a experienced veteran. He's one that can stay out of trouble pretty well at Daytona. So if he actually does make it, he's right on the bubble. He was 36th in speed. It's like you have to be in the top 31 to automatically kind of qualify with the 5 provisional ones. So I think he's got a lot of work to do, but I think that if he does get in, he could be a good one to take towards the back of the field. Means Motorsport, Harrison Rhodes, I don't think he's going to make it, and neither do I think any of these Mike Harmon cars. I think all 3 of these, Harrison Rhodes, Greg Galding, has a slight shot with owners' points of making it. Timothy Veens, I think they're going to be too slow, and I think they're going to bubble out on there. Our Motorsports, you have Brett Moffitt, you have Anthony Alfredo, and then you have Jeb Burton, who I believe he was in Gibbs last year, is moving on to our Motorsports here. So you've got 3 really good drivers. Alfredo is returning from Cup. He ran a limited schedule for a couple years in Xfinity and did quite well. So I think, this team could be sneaky good. If you look at their speed ranks, 13, 14, 15, like they're right up there in top 15. Each of them has had a little bit of experience here. So if they work together, team up with, if they can link up with the JR Motorsport Chevys or the Cully, if they let them, or maybe even the Richard Childress ones, I think that there's definitely some potential for these guys to do good. So they're probably going to qualify in the middle, so that's going to make them like GPP plays, but they could be really sneaky, especially Jeb Burton. I think his win was at Daytona. It might have been at Talladega. I thought he had a restrictor plate win, but I'm not positive on that. He's raced 5 times, 20% DNF rate, but 3 top 5. So Jeb Burton definitely, even though it's not as good equipment, I did really think that he's could one to potentially watch here. Natalie Recker, Reum Brothers only has like 1 car here. I don't know if she'll make it in. She's the Jennifer Jo Cobb kind of Xfinity. If she makes it in, she's probably going to lose the draft, and she's going to move up through attrition. She's not going to be able to keep up with the rest of the cars. But then again, there's been times where there's been a major wreck and she's moved up and her average finish rate is 18th. She's at the top 5 and a top 10. So it's just all about her making it in, and then she'll keep it clean, stay out of trouble. So it's one that you're going to have to debate if she does make it in. But if she does make it in, she's going to be a killer play, because she's probably going to start down like 43rd, 42nd, 41st, someplace. Or not, sorry, there's 36 cars. I'm thinking like NASCAR of the 90s when they fielded 43, and so she probably would start like 34, 35, 36. I believe they're only taking 36, and 36 will probably be the champion provisional if that one is used by anybody. So Richard Childress Racing is fielding 2 cars here. It's Sheldon Creed. I think maybe that's the one that Maya Snyder drove for last year. But anyways, it doesn't really matter. You have 2 truck guys coming. You have Sheldon Creed, who's very, very aggressive. He's moving his way up, successful. Won ARCA, won truck. Now he's going to win, hopefully, in Xfinity, and then move up to Cup. And Austin Hill, who had a really good truck career also. He struggled a little bit yesterday, and I think it was more of tech issues with his truck in the race, and then he got run up into the wall, so it kind of wasn't his fault there. But even with the issues, he still was contending a little bit. So both of them are good drivers. Both of them, I could definitely see a look at their statistics, like 100% DNF rate at Daytona when they raced in Xfinity. But you know what, their truck series numbers are good at Daytona, so don't look at that. Hill's going to have to make it on speed. He's at 25th, so he should get in. These cars should be very, very good tech-wise, and I think, if they work with some of the other Chevy groups, I think that you're going to see really good things from these guys if they're not overly aggressive and young and screw up. RSS Racing, Ryan Sieg is definitely going to make it in. Kyle Sieg's brother is going to join him. CJ McLaughlin joins the crew also. Ryan Sieg is a good driver out of these. He's had 16 Daytona races, 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s. 43% DNF rate, so that's a little concerning. So that means he's finished like 9 out of 16 races. So have to kind of watch that. But I think, if he starts back in the pack, he's one to look at. These other guys, I don't even think they're going to make it. Ryan Truex, actually 4th in a Sam Hunt car in speed, was just kind of impressive. 3 Daytona races, finished 2 out of 3 of them, 1 top 10, average finish 17th. If he starts in the back of the field or middle, like 20, or I think, you want to kind of set the bar. Yeah, I set the bar in trucks at 15 because there's a whole bunch of guys I could eliminate that I knew I didn't want between 15 and 36. But I think, you might want to look between 20 and 36, depending on who's back there today, and if he falls in that range. Jeffrey Earnhardt, he's had 11 races here, but his average finish is 26, so you have to keep that in consideration. If he starts like close to in the 30s someplace, he can move up a little bit, but other than that, I don't think I have interest in him. SS Greenlight Racing, I think they're both going to struggle to make it into the field. Their speed was in the 40s in qualifying. That did not look good. Joe Graff actually had like a hose or something, like his car was like smoking or water spraying out of or something. So I think he's a complete fade for me. I don't know if they can get that like fixed permanently without having a ton more practice or time to work on it. And then Riley Herbst is Stewart Haas Racing representative here. He raced in the truck race last night and did really well. I think he can also do really well here. His speed was a little off, so I'm hoping that maybe they're setting the car up for the race and not for the qualifying, and just knowing that he's going to get in and get safe. And definitely one to look at here. If he gets in, he's had like a top 5, a top 10. So I think, he's another dark horse. So just kind of reviewing here, the Gibbs cars, the JR Motorsport, the Collie cars, if any of those cars qualify 20th or back, they're definitely, ones that you want to lock in. They're going to move up. They're going to work together. The next group I look at is the R Motorsports, Richard Childress, Riley Herbst, some of the smaller teams that I'd be looking at to like complement them. Like I said, there's Brandon Brown from Brandon Belt, Jeremy Clement, Kyle Weatherman, and the rest of them, they're just kind of going to be there. So it's pick your poison, hope that their car makes it all the way through. And again, it's watch your bankroll here. Don't go super. I know it's exciting to have Xfinity and racing back, and maybe you're chasing because it didn't do well in the duels and the trucks. Just don't lose your whole bankroll and not be able to play next week when they go out to Fontana in or California or wherever. Forget what it's called, but anyways, the big track out there. There's many more weeks of NASCAR coming up, so be responsible. Don't use a ton of your money. Just play a little bit, have some fun, enjoy the races. And again, if you want some more help, you can sign up at fsidfs.com. Use the promo code free NASCAR. It's go towards the end of the month. They'll get you not only, we're not just giving away Daytona, we're giving away a couple after that. Throughout the year, we might have some other free previews and weeks. And TK and my mission is here to help you enjoy fantasy NASCAR and have some fun doing it, and maybe make some money. Hopefully make a lot of money. That'd be great also. But, you know, we just don't want you to get eaten up by the sharks and go in and play for a few weeks and just give up just because you're losing money left and right. That's no fun. We want you to be able to play responsibly and enjoy this. So as always, whether you subscribe or not, you can put questions on the bottom. We'll try to do our best to answer them. You can hit me up at Twitter at MegaRuler31. There's so many people that don't even, subscribe to us, that reach out to us for help and stuff. Built some really good relationships, and other people that know a lot of things about NASCAR. It's a great DFS community out there. So, looking forward to meeting you if you're watching these videos, and talking to you, helping you out, hearing your ideas and stuff. So thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it. Hopefully TK and I will get together for the Cup video, which unfortunately is going to be a chalk fest because there's 3 drivers that probably 3 to 4 drivers almost everybody's going to have in the cash lineup. So we're going to have to work hard to try to figure out which ones that we are going to play and how you can be a little bit different, especially if you're trying to win the millionaire. So again, I'm MegaRuler31. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.